and welcome to Connecticut at your service, and also happy Women's Month. I'm so excited to be here today and host this show. I want to give a shout out to Carmen, first of all. We miss you, we love you, and we hope you're doing well. So first of all, I want to shout out our super awesome guest for today. Her name is Patti Russo. She is the campaign school at Yale's executive director. And we are so delighted to have her, especially during Women's History Month, because she is such an amazing advocate for women and women of color and all that and above. So, Patti, would you mind introducing yourself to everybody?
Well, you've done such a fabulous job. There really isn't much more for me to say, but I'm thrilled to be back, and thank you so much for inviting me. And Carmen, feel better soon. So we have an amazing jewel of a campaign school right here in Connecticut. The campaign school at Yale was founded, we'll be seating our 28th class,
Wow.
Terry, in June. So we've been around for a while.
Nice.
We're a nonpartisan, issue-neutral political campaign training program. So we train Democrats, Republicans, independent, unaffiliated. You don't have to be pro or con an issue to come to our school. Our mission is to increase the number of women in the political pipeline, and we need more women in leadership.
Yes.
And it's always great to celebrate women during Women's History Month.
Right.
It's my busiest month of the year.
Great.
So it's great to be
Nice.
here.
Well, that's awesome. So you're telling me about the campaign school at Yale. So it's not only for women, right?
Correct. So when we originally were created, our name was the Women's Campaign School at Yale, and our mission is the same, to increase the number of women in the political pipeline. A few years ago, we started getting calls from the Human Rights Campaign and other supporters, advocates that we work with, saying, gosh, we have non-binary individuals who believe in your mission. We have men who desperately need your training because they're working on campaigns for women. They've never run as a woman before. They know there are challenges that women face that they don't even have to think about, that aren't even on their radar. And so, this is a very complicated, expensive business. The business of politics.
Right.
It's a business, Terry. And so as a result of that, you want to skew yourself for success. And the most effective way to do that is to come to our school and get exemplary training.
Nice. Well, can you tell me a little bit about, who you see in the program? I know that you're pushing for women, so what do the numbers look like right now?
So initially, the women who attended our school were in their mid-40s. So again, this is almost 30 years ago. We were created as a result of the Year of the Woman, which was way before you were born. 1992 was our Year of the Woman. And there were so many women running for office nationally, for Congress and the United States Senate. It was a very exciting time.
Nice.
And I was working on 1 million campaigns here in Connecticut. I'm always on the campaign side, never interested in running for office. I think it's really important to know your lane, and I stay in it. But we had amazing women running nationally. Ann Richards at the time was running for governor of Texas, and Carol Moseley Braun was running for the United States Senate from Illinois, first African-American woman ever in our history to be running for the United States Senate. Currently, we have no African-American women in the United States Senate. And, again, we had many women on both sides of the aisle at the time, Terry, who were running for Congress. So those of us who are on the ground, who are working on all these campaigns here in Connecticut, we're feeling really good because so many of them had so much traction, their numbers were good, they were able to raise the money that they needed to run viable campaigns. One of the number one reasons why we don't have more women running is the daunting amount of money you have to raise, no matter what level you're running. So many women were able to raise the money that they needed to get the message out to run effective campaigns. And the majority of the women who ran for Congress that year for governor that year won.
Wow.
They won their races on both sides of the aisle.
Nice.
So again, we were feeling pretty good. And we
course.
thought, well, gosh, now we have Carol Moseley Braun in the United States Senate. Women are going to look to that. They're going to see all these women who have run and won in Congress, and they're going to say, why not me? Why not me? That could be me. I could be joining Senator Moseley Braun, right? Or Ann Richards in Texas, won her race. And then 1993 happened, and it was as if 1992 had never happened. There were no women running, not in the numbers that we had hoped. So our founder, a woman by the name of Andre Allian Brooks, who was a Westport resident, Fairfield County, a New York Times reporter at the time, had a big dream and a big vision. And the dream was, I think we need a campaign school for women. I think that there are challenges that women face. And I think that the only way we're going to be able to shatter the glass ceiling that we talk about, that we're still talking about, and level the playing field for women when they run, is to start a campaign school for women. So about 10 of us from throughout the state, Rosa DeLauro, Congresswoman Nancy Johnson, who was a moderate Republican from the 5th Congressional District at the time, whole group of leaders from across the state started hammering it out, what it was going to look like. And this is what it looks like. And here we are, getting ready to seat our 28th class.
Awesome. Well, that's really interesting to hear. I didn't know any of that.
Well, see, this is my frustration with history. Okay, if we don't study our history, if it is not, as part of the curriculum in our schools, we are never going to know where we came from, how fabulous the people who came before us were. And I am able to do this work because of the incredible women leaders who came before me, who took a chance. This is hard stuff. I know I make it look like a party. I like to have a good time, but it's hard work. And the leaders of this movement to get more women in the pipeline, they work hard. They work hard, and it's grueling. Wow. I started my career with Bella Abzug. I don't know if you know that story. Should I tell it?
Tell it.
I think I should tell it. So I had the wonderful opportunity. I was an undergrad at the time at George Washington University, political science major. I grew up in New Jersey. My poor mother was beside herself. What are you going to do with a political science degree? Would cry all the time. Fortunately, my father was a good, amazing feminist. It's like, you'll figure it out. You'll do something with it. So one of the prerequisites at the time, Terry, was to work for a member of Congress. And as a young feminist, the only one I really I had my heart set on was working for a woman, because there were even fewer women in Congress back then than there are now. And so I made all these appointments. Bella Abzug, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Mikulski, Barbara Jordan. These are names these are huge pioneer women, right? So I have my first interview, 9 o'clock in the morning. I head up in my new Macy's pantsuit and my paper resume, because that's how old I am. And I have my little briefcase, and I go marching up to Cannon House office building, because that's where Bella's office was at the time. And I go in, and the phones are... Do we have to pick that up?
I think we should.
I think we should. Okay, I'll hold my story.
Let's see. Hi, thank you for calling Connecticut at your service. Do you have a question?
Yeah, it's me, Jerry. Who am I speaking?
Hi, this is Terry. Thank you for calling Connecticut at your service. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I don't have any question.
Oh, okay.
I just want to speak to Vicky.
Okay, can you give us a call back later?
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You.
Sorry about
We're
that.
supposed to take a message.
You know what?
We
That
do
was a good one.
everything here at Connecticut at your service. So anyway, so I go in, and the phones are ringing off the hook. I'm in Bella's office. And it's so exciting, right? Because it's madness.
Right.
And I was like, these are my people. So I go and I meet with a woman who's not much older than I. And we don't even sit down. We're literally standing in the lobby of Bella's office. And I hand her my resume. And I said, I just want to share with you what an amazing honor it would be to be an intern in the Congresswoman's office. And she goes, well, You look great. But, everybody wants to work for Bella. Everyone like you wants to work for Bella. We don't have any openings, but we'll keep your resume on file. Okay. And I said, okay, thank you so much. So this took all of 30 seconds, right? And then as I'm walking out, I see her take my resume and put it in the trash.
Oh, man.
Now, those of you who've been on interviews, you know how demoralizing that must have felt, right? I was young and I was really upset, right? So I go into the ladies' room, had a talk with myself, which I still do to this day. Just breathe, Patti, just breathe, calm down, you'll figure it out. Because I had to sell myself, Terry, for the rest of the day. I had all these other interviews. But as it turned out, no one had room for me, right? So I went literally door to door to virtually almost every congresswoman's office. No one had an opening. And so I'm leaving and I'm feeling pretty beleaguered. It's now 5 o'clock and I'm back in Cannon House Office Building, which is where I started in Bella's office, and I'm in the ladies' room. And I'm saying to myself, well, there's got to be a guy in Congress that I would be interested in working for. And I was going to go to the library that night and try to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So just as I'm getting ready to leave, I see a woman in the little vanity there crying. And so I went up to her and I was like, are you okay? She said, I will be now. I just quit my job. And I said, are you okay? I'm just not going to tell my parents that I quit. I'm just going to waitress until I figure it out. Well, of course, you know the punchline.
Right.
I said to her, who did you work for? I work for Bella. It's just too much. She's just too much. So I handed her a tissue. I wished her well, and then I ran. I didn't even think about it. And that's the thing, women tend to overthink things. Right. We tend to overthink things, and then we start getting small, and we start talking ourselves into not doing big risk-taking things, right? I didn't do that. I just ran back. Wow. So by now, it's 5:30, and it's crazy in the office because most of the staff have left. The congresswoman was still in the office, so that meant all the key staff were still there. Okay. So I just said, I'm just going to give her another resume. And just so I go in, I see my other resume from 8 hours prior, peeking out of the trash, but I just ignored it. So the phones are ringing. The woman who I had started my day with was there, and I handed her my resume, and I said, I just want to reiterate what an honor it would be to work for the Congresswoman before I left for the day. And just as I said that, Bella came out of her office. Now, your viewers should really Google Bella Abzug, A-B-Z-U-G, because so many of the key pieces of legislation that became law that made life better for women were introduced by the late, great Bella Abzug. And so she came barreling out, and she had her handbag under one arm and her papers under another. She was running to a meeting. She was famous for wearing big hats. And she comes out, and she's this incredible presence, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. And she walks out, and the phones are ringing. Nobody's picking up the phones, and she turns to me, and she says, you sit. Answer those phones. And that was the beginning of my amazing political career.
Oh my goodness.
That's how I got to you today, Terry. So I had this amazing opportunity with her who inspired, pushed me, got me out of my comfort zone. And I just had an amazing, amazing political ride with her. And I never would be doing the work that I'm doing now had I not had that moment, had I not taken a chance and just not overthought it and just ran back and made it happen.
That's amazing. That was an amazing story.
So one of the first key pieces of legislation that I worked on with Bella was her Fair Credit Act. And back then, so I love telling this story when I'm talking with really young women in high school and college mostly. And I'll say to them, how many of you have a credit card in your wallet? And almost every hand goes up, okay? I mean, everybody does, right? And I said, well, you have Bella Abzug to thank for that. Because before Bella's legislation, your father had to sign your application, your credit card application, or your spouse had to sign it. But women were not allowed to get their credit in their own name before that. And it wasn't that long ago. So Thank you, Bella. Thank you, women leaders who make a difference. I mean, that's, women leaders know what the challenges are that women face in their day-to-day lives because we're women.
Right.
We know what they are, and we want to make life better. And that's why we need more women in the pipeline. That's why we need more women running and winning. That's why we need more women running campaigns. We just need more women everywhere.
Right.
When you look at the number of women in Connecticut, we could do better. In fact, we were doing better for a while, and now our numbers have plummeted a bit. Look at our constitutionals. We have one woman of color, the Secretary of State, Stephanie Thomas.
Wow.
We have one woman of color, Congresswoman, Johanna Hayes. That's it. I think we could do better, and we're out to do that.
Yes. Can you tell me how you guys are out to do that? Because I know you have a new scholarship.
Yes.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
So we have an exciting opportunity, and I'm so grateful to the Fund for Women and Girls, Fairfield County's Community Foundation. They have been a very long-time partner of ours. So for the past 5 years, they have been funding our one-day training, which I hope I have time to talk about because it's such an amazing program. Yes. But so for the past 5 years, they have been underwriting our one-day training, the Campaign School at Yale, the Basics. And then this year, they gave us a $20,000 grant, which would make it possible for 10 women of color from Fairfield County to attend our premier 5-day campaign training in June at Yale Law School.
Nice.
So that's really what I'm here about. Oh my gosh, there it is. So there on your screen, you will see our Lieutenant Governor, Susan Bysowitz, a huge fan of the Campaign School at Yale, as well as the Fund for Women and Girls. Lieutenant Russo Humes, who is a Vice President at the Foundation, just phenomenal leader in our county. You know, it's such a gift to work with people who get it, who really understand and see your vision and want to partner with you and make it happen. So it's all well and good to say, we need more women of color, somebody help, and nobody's helping, and then somebody raises their hand. So that kind of leadership we're so lucky to have right here in Fairfield County. So I'm urging, inspiring your viewers tonight to go on our website, which is tcsyale.org. That's tcsyale.org. The application is right there. Fill out the application. We require one letter of recommendation. Get that letter of recommendation attached and make your dream come true. Let us help you make your dream come true. And with the support of the foundation now, so many more women of color from Fairfield County will be able to come to our school in June. So how amazing is that?
That's amazing.
So we are just so fortunate that we have that kind of support coming right from our own here in Fairfield County.
Wow, that's awesome. And how long will that be available?
So the online application is available until Monday, April 10th.
Okay.
So you have plenty of time to apply.
Right.
Any questions, you can reach us at info@tcsyale.org. That's info@tcsyale.org, or you can give us a call. I'm a phone person, so I like calls. 203-734-7385. Please feel free to give us a call if you have any questions. But really, truly, if this has always been your dream, if you've always wanted to run, if you've always wanted to skew yourself for success and run well, run a campaign, we're here for you. We're here for you. And this is just an enormous opportunity that I hope our leaders in Fairfield County take advantage of.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. And, you know, the Fairfield County Community Foundation is such a leader. You know, when it comes to foundations, they really have raised the bar. And so I know of no other foundation in the state or the country that offers this, and I'm hoping that this will be an exciting trend and other foundations will want one in on this wonderful opportunity.
Right. It's interesting, you know, hearing sort of some of the history that you shared, how not trends, but, you know, things kind of go up and down. Like, you know, it was, you know, during this time it was this way, during this time it kind of went this way. So I definitely am hoping as well that, the trend picks up and that, people really take this as an opportunity to, really do great things.
Mm-hmm.
But could you also share what cities lie in Fairfield County, just for us who may not know?
I have a list. I have a cheat sheet right here. So Fairfield County towns and cities: Bethel, Bridgeport, Brookfield, Coscob, Danbury, Darien, Easton, Fairfield, Georgetown, Greenwich, Hollyville, Monroe, New Canaan, New Fairfield, Newtown, Norwalk, Old Greenwich, Reading, Reading Center, Reading Ridge, Ridgefield, Riverside, Sandy Hook, Shelton, Sherman, Southport, Stamford, Stratford, Trumbull, Weston, Westport, and Wilton. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Yes.
I know that there are women out there
course.
that deserve a seat at our school. So please, once you're finished watching our show,
Right.
go to our website, tcsyale.org, and please apply. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yes.
It takes a lot to run for office, Terry, as you know. It takes a lot to run a campaign. And women have a lot to give. We have a lot to give. It's a high energy business. But women are, by virtue of who we are as a gender, we're multitaskers. Is somebody calling
We
us?
have another caller.
Let's see.
Hello, thank you for calling Connecticut at your service. Do you have a question?
I do, thank you. I was wondering, I know that you mentioned that this opportunity for women is among Fairfield County, but I looked on the website and I was impressed by the fact that women come from all over the world. Is that right?
That is correct. Thank you for studying our website and putting that on our radar. Thank you so much. Yes, so 8 to 10% of all of women who attend our school every year are from other parts of the world, other parts of the country. Thank you so much for that comment. Years ago, we had a woman named Kawala come to our school from Cameroon. She was running for president, and she had been delayed because she had been kidnapped by her opponents.
Wow.
Now, we have many challenges facing our state and our country, but fortunately, kidnapping is not one. So when she was able to calm down and unpack her bags and come to the school, I said to her, Ka, you need to share with the class your experience, because the international global experience of a woman running for office is very different from ours. And I think it was just so important for her to share that women of the world regularly risk their lives to run for office. So thank you so much for that question. Did you have another comment?
I do, and I'm sorry, I'm just so interested. So I noticed you also have a Facebook page where you feature women who look just amazing. Could you share a little bit about what people will learn at the school? And you said it's not a day, right?
It's not a day, it's 5 days. So thank you so much. As you know, we have been in celebration party mode. So last month we were celebrating and showcasing many of our women, our African American women for Black History Month who serve in office or in other leadership positions throughout the country. So go to our website, go to our Facebook page, which is the Campaign School at Yale, and just take a peek. And now, of course, we've launched Women's History Month. So we're doing a lot of celebrating just phenomenal women that we've been able to train and who are now just phenomenal leaders in our country. So two of the ones that
The mysterious
callers, Lauren Underwood. Lauren Underwood, Illinois 14, is one of our grads. She came to our school and she said, eventually, Patti, I don't know when, didn't have a timetable in terms of when she wanted to run for office, but knew she wanted to run someday. Registered nurse. And so then 2 years later, she calls me, Patty, I'm running. I'm running for Congress
Nice.
from her district, Illinois, predominantly white district, I might add. She's an African-American woman. And she had a primary, brutal primary, 8 or 9 white men, which she easily beat out in the Democratic primary. And then she went on to unseat her 20-year Republican incumbent
Wow.
from that district. And now she's in Democratic leadership in Congress. So Lauren Underwood, Kirsten Gillibrand, who's also a grad of our school, U.S. Senator from New York, says of Lauren Underwood is the future of the Democratic Party. She happens to be right. That's absolutely true. And then we have Nikema Williams, who I'm sure some of your viewers know about. Nikema is from Georgia. She represents Georgia 5. When she came to our school, she was getting ready to run for state senate in Georgia. Went home, ran for state senate, and then a few years later, her mentor, the late John Lewis, died, and she had an opportunity and said, I'm running for, didn't plan it, running for Congress, and she ran and she won. And not only is Nikema just a phenomenal leader for her for her congressional district, but she also is head of the Democratic Party in Georgia. Nikema Williams does not sleep. I mean, she's amazing.
Wow.
So we have phenomenal candidates who come to our school and run and win. Now, not everybody runs and wins. You know, the majority of our candidates, the last 3 or 4 cycles, have won, which is, it's more fun to win, let me tell you.
Thank you.
But there are moments when you're going to come up short. They just are. There's so many things that you can control, and all those things that you can control, we will teach you at our school. If you go on our website, again, which is tcsel.org, under facts, you'll find our 2022 summer schedule, and you'll see the depth and the breadth, the intensity of the program. You know, Terry, we mimic the energy of a real campaign. So those of your viewers who've worked on campaigns know how intense it is, right? It's a morning, noon, and night commitment, weekends, everything. You give up a lot to serve.
Right.
But sometimes you come up short, and we had 2 this cycle who came within 100 votes of their loss.
Wow.
That's a rounding error. So, you know, I just said, look, think about it. I know you're grieving. It's a drag to lose, but under 100 votes, I would take a look again at that race next cycle. So we've had a lot of great victories, you know, women who've run for office and won, women who've run campaigns, and those are the women that we're also featuring for Women's History Month. We have a lot of women on our Facebook page and all of our social media that we're celebrating this month who have run campaigns and won their races.
Well, that's awesome. I just learned so much today.
Good.
That was
Wow.
amazing. I want to thank you again. I know we're closing up, but I want to thank you so much for being on the show and, you know, sharing this opportunity for, you know, Fairfield County women to take this opportunity and, you know, use it to, you know, start a movement. You know, I think that's amazing. So thank you so much, Patti, for being here.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Have me back anytime.
Of course. And thank you guys so much for watching Connecticut at Your Service. I'm your host today, Terry Perkins. We come here once again every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at Soundview Community Media. Check out our website, and thank you so much to the team and everybody for watching. Have a great night.